Hello everybody and welcome to Retro Ratchet. So this is going to be the first video doing a bit of a deep dive into the welding on the SD1. Hope it's of interest. Okay, so let's dive straight into the welding then on the front inner wings. So this was the first inkling I had that it maybe wasn't as solid as it was meant to be. This is the front passenger side. What just looked like a little hole there. It was going to be a half-hour job to repair. Don't they all? So took the front spoiler off, and then that revealed that a lot of the corrosion was actually up into the wing, the arch lip, and just round the back. That's it there from the side angle, so you can see most of that lips away, and also the bit right at the bottom of the picture, that little area that boxes those in, that was pretty much shot as well. So I cleaned it all up with a wire brush on the grinder. Just, I guess, found some solid metal there and then just marked out roughly how far back I wanted to go with cutting. And done the same on the inside, so just a little bit of planning. For this I used, well, it's a combination of tools I generally use for this kind of stuff. Is a 4-inch disc on the air grinder, or I've got the normal discs just on a normal angle grinder, or the air saber saw, I guess depending on exactly where I'm at. So as you can see there, I've just made up a little plate for the bottom section. Now what I actually done here is I had a couple of front wings. They weren't in perfect condition, so I decided just to use them to cut into bits to repair the ones that were on it. But I think in reflection, looking back, because this was the very start of the project, I didn't know how much work had actually been involved in it. I would have probably been as well just sourcing some better wings, and when welding the whole wings on it would have probably saved me quite a bit of time in the end. But regardless, power of hindsight, so we are where we are. So yeah, all I done is I just trimmed off a little section here, tacked it in place, and then just went round, welded it up, ground the welds flat there, and that's just from another angle. So because I want the body shop to do all the body prep, all you'll see in these videos is basically the welding getting done, the welds getting ground down till they're flat in most cases, and then just primered over, so somebody that actually knows what they're doing can properly filler and paint the bits that are going to be seen. And that's it there, just with a coat of zinc primer on the outside. Same from the inside. And then just that small little plate I used to close off the section that meets the outer wing, and just another little plate in there just to finish that off. So for me that was good, that was a win. At that point I thought there was only just going to be that and the other side to do, because I hadn't really looked at the car in that much detail. So this was the driver's side, pretty much a mirror image of the passenger side, except there was a little bit more rust. I think it went maybe twice the distance of the passenger side. You can see there on the lips, quite a bit of that actually rotted away. So same process as the other side, just marked it, cut it all out till I got back to clean metal. You can see there's quite a bit actually taken out that inner wing at the front. And then just let in a repair section off my spare wing. Ground the welds flat, and then zinc primered over. And you can see the same as the other side, I had to do a little panel just to close that off. You can see it a bit better there. So then I split the next into two repairs, one for the right hand side and one for the left. And that's the right hand side one done. I just curved that round, that section, and then a much bigger plate there just to finish the whole lot off, and then just seam welded it down. Cleaned everything up with a wire brush on the drill, and then zinc primered. So that was both the leading edges of the front and the wings done. So again, good little success there until I looked further. Right, so the bit you've probably all been waiting for, getting on to the exciting stuff, or the most disastrous looking stuff. So yeah, after I'd finished the front half, I started just poking about further back the car. When I went to jack it up, I did hear a little bit of a crunching noise, so I knew I was in for it after that. So here's the view looking back on the driver's side floor. You can see the jacking point has disappeared upwards, so that wasn't looking particularly good. There's another one from underneath there. You can see the damage where the floor meets the sill right at the very front, and just a bit of a hole there behind that jacking point. This is a view from the inside after I removed the sound deadening in the carpets. Centre console and the sound deadening was still in over the tunnel at that point, but you can kind of get a bit of the picture with that jacking point in the road there. That's just another view there. So there's a picture there of after I chipped away the black tar type stuff that we used as sound deadening. It came away very easily because it seems that a lot of the water was actually sitting underneath it, so that would have helped everything to rot out. You'll note there the rot on the inner sills, so I'll come to that in a minute. And just over to the left of the driver's floor, yeah, we've got a bit of rust and some holes going up there into the tunnel. I'll cover those repairs separately as well. And there you go. I think, well, that one says it all, doesn't it? So I set to just cleaning back to what I think was sound metal. Cut all that out. You'll see on the left of the picture there the actual jacking point. Well, I mean, most of that came away by hand, maybe except the bit that it was tacked onto the chassis rail in the centre, but I kept that to one side. Right, so I guess the question was, where do we start? Turned into a bit of a bigger project than I'd first anticipated, and the more I cut, the more holes and corrosion I was finding. So I think the most sensible place to start was to sort out that inner sill area, so then I had something solid to weld up against when I put the floor in. So here you can see the more I started digging into that inner sill, the more rust that I found. So I ended up going a good few inches upwards, cutting into the sill, and then behind it, that panel that sits between outer and inner sill, that had quite a bit of corrosion on it as well. So it was a case of I cleaned all of that up and then fabricated just a simple plate to go in that intersection, and then just plug welded that along the bottom and seam welded it along top. And that's just that same plate cleaned up there, all the welds ground flat, and some weld through primer put over that. And then next, a much bigger repair section I put in there for that inner sill. And I mean, that covered, yeah, nearly halfway along the floor. So again, seam welds along the top and plug welds along the bottom. Okay, so next on to getting some panels made up to actually start building the floor back up. So this was a pretty substantial size repair patch for this part of the floor. So seam welded right the way along. What you'll see there on the right hand side is I've just done a few little lengths of weld, but that actual repair panel is L-shaped. So on the lip underneath the car, I've just plug welded along into the sill. So they're there just for and added a little bit of strength in there. Right, this bit here, so to the left, the more I dug into the area around the transmission tunnel, the worse that seemed to get. I don't know why that area was actually so rusty, unless it's the case that maybe where the downpipe runs, it's melted away the underseal and it's left it vulnerable to corrosion from the outside, who knows, but it was in a pretty bad way. So what I started doing was trying to figure out how we'd repair that, so I decided to split it into around 3 smaller repair sections because there's so many curves. And that's the first section going in there. So it was a bit of a challenge to try and get that in and curved correctly. You'll see the plug welds that are running along the way, they're just for the cross members running across the car. and that's the second plate going in there. Again, you can see the chassis rail where it's plug welded along the centre. And then I never actually got a picture of the other one getting welded in, but that's the finished article. You can actually see a fourth plate there just on the left, running right along. It wasn't so much hold through, but the metal was really thin, so I thought it was best just to cut it out. So yeah, a little bit of a patchwork quilt, but it does all seem to be pretty solid, other than trying to put a whole new floor section in. I think when I started it, I thought I'll just do a little bit at a time, but it's like anything. The more you get that wire brush and the grinder into things, the less metal there actually is left. So from underneath, what I've done is I just fabricated my own jacking points. So I've got some pictures of those I'll include later on in the next video. But that's the driver's side one there. I ended up seam welding it in just to give it an extra bit of strength. I seam welded onto that chassis rail in the centre. And that's that front section finished off and treated to some zinc primer. Okay, so I hope everybody enjoyed the first video of the deep dive into the welding disaster on the SD1. So there'll be several other videos to follow where I'll just go through every section. So I hope they're of interest to everyone out there and hope you enjoyed them.